So, Health Secretary Wes Streeting has hit out at Nigel Farage, calling him a miserablest declinist.
I'm quite shocked that GB News thought it would be a good idea to cover the news of Wes Streeting calling Farage a miserable declinist and then get in Labour activist Chris Worrell to comment.
A vision of the UK. He made the comments last night. Well, joining me now, Labour activist Chris Worrell. Chris, thank you very much for joining us. A miserablest declinist? Come on, that's a bit ridiculous, isn't it? Don't you think? How on earth could he say that?
Well, look, Wes Streeting, working class boy done good, has hit the nail on the head, calling Farage out for having a declinist vision for the country. The mission-led Labour government is getting on to turning the country around after 14 years of touring Conservative neglect. We've had more announcements recently about reducing NHS waiting lists, as well as, building the houses that we need and streamlining national infrastructure projects. But it's clear for all to see that Farage just sort of feeds on pessimism like a parasite. And, if Britain's going to thrive, Nigel's going to be out of a job, And I think at the end of the day, his politics is sort of dressed up as patriotism. All he's ever done is sort of fly the flag of failure and wrap himself in it. I mean, you look at the people he's got around him in reform. You've got a bunch of failures. Rupert Lowe, a man synonymous with some people's eyes of decline of Southampton, getting them relegated and financial ruin. Richard Tice, he had that fund management ripped off him. He had to sue them though afterwards. Didn't get it back though. And then you got 30p Lee. I mean, the guy wouldn't be trusted with a shopping list, let alone being put into Whitehall and running a department. The Reform starting 11 are just a bunch of miserable doomsters.
Do you want me to list the Labour Party and start talking about David Lammy, Bridget Phillipson? Listen, we can list a load of people from your side who are pretty bad, but as for being a miserablest declinist, was it not Keir Starmer who stood there on a plinth of integrity saying things will get worse before they get better, and went on about how miserable everything will be and how hard life would be? And is it not Rachel Reeves' economic vision that is currently slow-mo crashing the economy? Let's be honest here. We've got farmers on strike who don't really, they're not striking, they're threatening to strike because they're not happy with the inheritance tax rate, and these are most of the people in this country. So I'm wondering how a politician who seems to have a vision of the UK and has patriotism towards the UK can be seen as a miserablest declinist.
Labour's got a plan for change. They're getting on with that. And at the end of the day, Farage has got bigger problems than continuing just to sell his misery. And as you said earlier, Trump has got a very good relationship with Starmer. Musk is now downplaying any donations to reform.
Well, that's lucky for Starmer that Trump is in a forgiving mood. Because let's not forget, David Lammy called Donald Trump a neo-Nazi sympathising. Sorry, hold on. I'll finish. Neo-Nazi sympathising sociopath. So I'm hearing all these insults. Peter Mandelson called Trump a danger to the world. If you're saying that Nigel Farage is a miserablest declinist and you're agreeing with it, then what has Labour got to offer?
I'm saying he's got bigger problems than continuing to sell his misery. I wouldn't be surprised if he had a little cry after Musk sort of chinned him off and wanted to have Tommy Robinson running his party. But the bigger problem here is the fact that
he's distanced himself from Tommy Robinson. That's not fair.
He hasn't distanced himself from Musk. He was squirming in that interview just after he made all those comments. Meanwhile, he's given his sort of non-Nazi salute as a little wink and a nudge. And then today he's over with the AfD.
No. There are lots of other people who've done the same sign with their hands.
As an Englishman, my grandparents fought against fascists. He's over there pandering to them. Meanwhile, Elon Musk's dad is telling everyone how the grandparents had Hitler sympathies, raising the hand and all that. And we're all pretending that Musk is in bed with all these guys.
Click here for Reform's McMurdoch problem.